name is Chivas Mays, and I am the host for Stand Up Placer TV. Stand Up Placer is the domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking agency that serves Placer County. Today, I am very excited of the special guest that I have in the studio. His name is Omar, and he's going to tell us about the program that he serves at Stand Up Placer. So, without further ado, hi, Omar. How are you doing?
I'm great, Chivas. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for being in the studio.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us what you do at Stand Up Placer.
Okay, so at Stand Up Placer, I am the Detention Advocate Coordinator.
Okay.
And what that basically means at Stand Up Placer is I work in the jails and detention facilities here in Placer County to help victims of sexual assault primarily, but also human trafficking and domestic violence as well.
Awesome. Wow. So what is that program called?
Okay, so our program is a grant called the KA grant. The funny thing about it is I don't know what KA stands for. I've looked it up. I think it's just some kind of code.
Okay.
Essentially what it is for detention advocacy. And so our KA program is a little over a year old here in Placer County. And it comes as a result of something called PREA, which is an acronym for the Prison Rape Elimination Act.
Oh, wow.
Which is a federal law that was signed into law in 2003 during the Bush administration. And so that's why we have it here in Placer County to serve, clients that are incarcerated who still deserve to have, humane and empathetic treatment and don't deserve to be sexually assaulted in prison or even before or after.
Okay. Yeah, wow. So that was my next question. So why do you feel like this program is such a need tied into domestic violence and sexual assault?
Well, that's a good question. I would say that the idea that comes out that bore this the situation was one where we look at victims and say, just because you're in jail, because you're detained and you broke the law, it doesn't mean that you deserve to be raped or sexually assaulted. That's not a part of your consequence. As a society, the part of the consequence is that you lose your freedom, right, for a period of time. And as a culture and a society, it's our job to house these people when they're incarcerated, keep them in a safe place, feed them. They serve their time, they get out and go on about their life. So it comes from the idea that we can't make a joke out of people like we have in the past. People being in jail and the kind of rape culture that exists there. People are starting to get more serious about that and realizing that those people don't deserve that. And so that's why essentially it was created.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely sounds like something that is needed, and I'm glad that they do have that program in place now. So what are some of the problems that you see with this program or the needs?
Well, I would say, going back to what I just said recently or just a minute ago, just kind of changing the minds of people and how they look at sexual assault in prison, right, or in jail. That people can make fun of it over the years and make it a joke or don't drop the soap and those kind of things, right? And
inappropriate.
A lot of people have done that. And so I think at this point we're waking up to the idea that as human beings, no one deserves this. And so that's why this program exists. Now, the way PREA works is that if something happens while you're incarcerated, there's a line that you can get on and call. There's a hotline. It comes to us here at Stand Up Placer, and we come out and serve the need of that client. We go out and talk to them, listen to them, and see what happened, and then we make the appropriate actions from there. This also covers clients who, let's say, something doesn't happen in jail. Something happened prior to you getting to jail. And as you'll find, you talk about the problems and the challenges that we see. A lot of people that are in jail and prison, sexual assault is a part of their history, unfortunately, as well as domestic violence and sometimes human trafficking, as you might know. And so the idea that you can still be incarcerated, you can still have made mistakes that got you where you are, but that sexual assault probably played a part in that in your life of some of the decisions that you had to make or that you felt you needed to make and got you where you are at that day. So we still address those clients and help them cope with that as well as they move forward in their life.
Okay, so when this program is executed properly, what are some of the outcomes that you've seen?
That's a really great question. So essentially what we try to do at Stand Up Placer is really provide emotional support.
Okay.
That's probably our number one export, I would say, or the number one thing that we provide is to come into the client and talk to them and make sure that we're being non-judgmental, empathetic, compassionate, and really understanding where they're coming from. We do a lot of listening. We kind of mirror, the conversation we're having so as not to make it about us, but to kind of let them take it at their pace. But that's the number one thing we provide. And being an advocate is also important in terms of if there's things that are happening to them and that they need someone to kind of help fight for. We do that as well. We do really well at that. We can also provide court accompaniment, where we show up just to be like a friend in the court. Like if they might even be behind the glass wall, right? But you can look out and see a friend, you can wave, and sometimes that alone just helps people feel better about what they're going through. The fact that you said you'd be there and you actually show up. We also provide care packages, just to make them feel good, right? Because everybody knows you receive a gift.
Right.
Everybody likes to receive a gift. It puts a smile on your face.
Right.
It puts a smile in your heart.
Right.
And so that's what we're really there trying to provide for them, is so they can feel like, hey, somebody cares about me. Also, it might be that they're disconnected from their family for a variety of reasons, right? So we have to be the kind of advocate that comes in there, shows friendship, shows care, compassion, non-judgmental, and have conversations about a variety of things so they can feel comfortable while they're there.
Right.
We can also try to help them with, exit plans. I know you're our housing director, and so I was meeting with you a couple weeks ago about trying to help people as they transition out into a better housing scenario.
Yeah.
There's also patients or clients who need inpatient, various, substance abuse rehabilitation type services, and so we help provide that segue from being incarcerated. You're free. What can we do to help you bridge that gap to get into the next place that you need to be for housing and getting yourself back on your feet? So ultimately, if we're doing those things, we're being very successful. We have a really good partnership with Placer County, the PrEP organization, which is their reentry program. And we've had a lot of successes already just in a short period of time we worked with them, including one client who already is at a rehabilitation facility, inpatient, out in Placerville. So that's just in the last probably 2 or 3 months we're doing things like that. So when we're successful, that's what we're doing. We're being a friend, a confidant, somebody they can count on, and somebody that can help them in other, kind of personal matters as well.
So let me ask you this. How long have you worked in this movement? What is your background?
Well, my background, okay. Well, I've been involved in this particular movement with Stand Up Placer for a year at this point. But previous to working at Stand Up Placer, I worked with the Greater Sacramento Urban League. I've been a nonprofit consultant with various community nonprofits, and I typically work with the underserved communities. So young people from the ages of 14 to 24 who have dropped out of high school and need a GED, who might have been incarcerated and they need a mentor to help them go from the life they're living into a life that's more productive and more healthy for them and their family. So I worked a long time with the Greater Sacramento Urban League for probably about close to 7 years altogether, where over that period of time we helped close to 600 young people go through our Urban Youth Empowerment Program.
Wow.
And so those were people from all walks of life, foster youth, like I said before, people who had not finished high school and wanted to further education. We got people into college. We helped get people, into careers, and that's basically where my heart is. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
And so in the heart of the civil rights era, that's where my family kind of gave me that instinct to help and be a part of the community. So probably from birth, really.
Yeah, really.
Some of
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as my career, I've always been in the community working with people like myself from Oakland. I was born in Mississippi but grew up in Oakland. So it's always been a part of my heart to help people get to where they can go, just like people help me.
Right.
'Cause without them, I wouldn't be here. That's for sure. So.
So Omar, I'm an inmate in jail, and I've been sexually assaulted. How do I get in contact with you?
Okay, that's an excellent question and something I want to make clear for everybody. So first of all, what I want to say is the PREA federal guidelines are for all people, male, female, transgender, the various identifications people have is for everyone. And we get people that call in from all those walks of life. But how the call is made is it's a free call to the victim. And basically what they do is they look around their jail facility and there's all kind of stickers and signs that let people know about this PREA program, and that what if something happens, where you can go. Each facility that is either PREA compliant or they at least follow the guidelines, they have to have this up by law. And so the client cannot be stopped from going to this phone call if they make a request. The correctional officer cannot ask why they want to go. The person can just say, I want to go to this phone, and they have to allow it. In Placer County, those calls go to our organization, our safe house here in Placer County with Stand Up Placer. And the wonderful people that we have there take the call. Once again, the compassion, the empathy, they listen to what's going on. They get a clear understanding of what's going on with this client, and then they let me know about it.
Okay.
I get an email, and I also get people that they can text me as well to let me know that a call came in. I will go back into our system, take a look at it, and then I go and visit this person. And then I listen to them some more, and then I decide, and we decide how we're going to move forward. Here in Placer County, obviously we work with the Sheriff's Department, and in my experience here in the past year, it's been an excellent relationship.
Nice.
They have not, well, by law, they cannot stop people from doing this anyway, but each organization or each facility will have what's called a PREA compliance coordinator. At Placer County, it's a man by the name of Sergeant Mark McKay. Okay. And so far, he's been an excellent partner to work with. His whole team has been wonderful. They've never stopped us from doing anything. The reports we make, they're always professional and kind about it. And I think they really understand the importance of this law and why it's in place. I think it helps them, honestly, right, to keep order in their facility. And also, like most of us, they're people that they care about human beings as well. And I think most people don't want anybody to get hurt. And so from that perspective, they've been a wonderful partner. Every time I go into the facilities, I've gotten to know the people who allow me to come in. Wonderful people, kind people. They know me by name at this point. Always friendly, always polite. And so I don't know if that's the case around the country, but here in Placer County, at least we have that kind of relationship. So
Wonderful.
Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. So are they placed in protected custody once they're assaulted?
That's a really good question. In my experience, I haven't had something like that. There weren't cases where that was needed to happen. What I believe is that it's a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
So if something comes up where it seems that that's what's appropriate to do, that is what they will do. I do have clients who, for various reasons, sometimes they are in what they call ADSEG, and they get an hour and a half out of their cell throughout the day. So I've had those scenarios. I don't know if it was always related to my call, but my guess would be that it's case by case, and that if that's necessary and they feel the safety of that victim is in danger, then they will go ahead and make that call. Yeah. Okay.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. So if someone is assaulted, the PREA number that automatically comes to the Stand Up Placer Crisis Hotline at 800-575-5352.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Omar, I'm curious to know, why do you do this work, and why is it you chose Stand Up Placer?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. And let me see if I can be as succinct as possible. Here's what I'll say. I grew up pretty rough in Oakland, and I had a lot of people that really helped me out. And without those people, coaches, my mother, grandparents, people in the church that I went to for a while, teachers, counselors, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I always had it in my heart to kind of be someone who was there to serve others, because I saw that in my life for so much. And then when I graduated from college, I was an economics major, and I got into the business world because in my mind I just thought, I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to make money, and I didn't really have a good, clear concept of anything other than playing sports. And I got my degree, and I want to make money, But it quickly became obvious to me that some of the corporate jobs I was in, while I was making money, I wasn't really enjoying certain parts of my life, and I found myself volunteering a lot. And so after years went by, people would say to me, like, man, you just need to do this kind of work full time, And so when I came here to, the Sacramento area from the Bay Area, that's what, maybe within a year and a half or so, I worked with the Sacramento Urban League. And that's when I found kind of my passion and my joy. It was like, that job was not a lot of money either.
Yeah.
But I loved every minute of it and felt like it was perfect for me. You know, I felt like I was at home every day. The things I was doing, I was able to use my sales skills. I was able to use my ability to mentor and talk and listen. And it was just one of the best things that ever happened to me. And so once that happened, I couldn't really turn back. Now, in terms of stand-up placer, probably two reasons. The first reason, you know, without getting too personal, but I was actually, when I was 5 years old, I had a sexual assault scenario that was pretty rough. And so, as you can imagine, it changed the course of my life. And so, for me, coming out of that and just going through my whole life as a person, never really dealing with it, and as a man looking back and seeing all the things the behaviors that came out that I didn't understand at the time, but I was about to volunteer at the Sacramento Children's Home, and they put me through a 3-week training. And so in that training, I'm listening about PTSD and what happens to all these kids. And I'm like, that's me. I literally was learning about myself, you know. And so that's also what kept me in this kind of industry as well, is that what I found was that for me personally, I can look back over my life. Every time I decided to give or help, it was just something in my heart to do that. I always got something out of it every single time. And so for me to wake up and be like, man, I went here to volunteer to help these kids, but I ended up getting a lot of help, you know. So I decided to stick with it. And then for stand-up placer, honestly too, my sister-in-law was a service director here, and so she knew about my history, and you know I've known her since she was probably 11 or 12 years old, and so we had a good relationship just as brother and sister, even though she's my sister-in-law. Yeah. And she knew she was always trying to recruit me to come here, and so when the opportunity presented itself, she called me, and I came over, interviewed, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yes.
That's why I'm here, and I love what I do. When I go home at night, I'm a coach as well. I coach football, I coach basketball, and so I spend a lot of time coaching, a lot of time with kids, and so I have kids myself, and so this job actually really helped me be able to, not that I ever lacked in this, but appreciate what I have and appreciate being with my family. And so when I first started this job, I probably was less patient with my kids, but as time was going on, I've become much more patient, and I try to give them what I give my clients. And it's funny in your personal life how you have all this you give to everybody else, but when you come home with your kids, sometimes you're a little less, patient and understanding. So I've learned because of my daughter, who's very strong-willed, and from conversation with her, she's 15 years old, but I've learned to kind of bring that home to them a little bit better in the last, I would say 6 or 7 months. And so I really appreciate this opportunity, and I really appreciate being able to help people the way I was helped. And that's why I'm here. And, if the good Lord is willing, I plan on doing this for quite some time. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I concur with everything that you're saying. You're absolutely an asset to Placer County. And I appreciate the work that you do. It's a unique population, and it's not a lot of people serving in that area. So to be able to have the compassion and the empathy to go in, to facilities for people that have pretty much been thrown away, you are there and you're still giving them hope and letting them know there is still life, after incarceration. And of course, when they come out, they have other barriers that they're going to be facing. So you're bridging that gap to help them to get to the next place that they need to be. So I greatly appreciate that.
You. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
As well.
Thank you. So how can the community get involved and be effective?
Okay, that's a great question. The number one thing I think the community can do is call Stand Up Placer. Go to our website, which is www.standupplacer.org. Very simple, URL to type in. Also, you can call me at my office. I'm actually in Roseville and Auburn, but my office line is primarily the Roseville office, and that number is 916-773-7273. And when you call, you can ask me about the program. You can ask about volunteer opportunities at Stand Up Placer, which are many and definitely needed in this day and age. We have a training that we can talk about that you go through to actually, volunteer with us. You can spread the word. You can talk about a career with Stand Up Placer, because I will tell you that involved in this program, it takes a special type of person. It's not for everybody. It's really not. It's a very specific type of skill set that you would need. And I would say the skill set that you need, number one, is to be someone who's humble, empathetic, and someone who knows that you're there to help and serve. That to me, that's the prerequisite. And after that, we can train some of the other things as far as the technicalities, but it has to be a person that you're really doing it because you care about the community and you care about human beings, and you realize that that's our race, the human race, and that's what we're there to help as people. So if you do those things, you can be a part of the program. Like I said, call me. My name is Omar Johnson. I'm the Detention Advocate Coordinator at Stand Up Placer. I would take any call from the community and talk to people about any questions you have about any topic regarding what we do. And I'd love to hear from anybody out there about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure you will be getting some calls for sure.
I hope so.
Well, thank you. So with that, we just want you to know, if you or someone you know are being abused, help is available. You can contact our crisis line at 800-575-5352. Know that you're not alone. You can speak to someone anonymously. If you're needing shelter, we can assist you with that. If you're needing housing, we have resources for that as well. If you need therapy, whatever it is you need, support groups, we're here to help you. You do not have to stay in that situation. Your life matters, you're loved, and we want to see you win, okay? So continue to tune into the show, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.